Hi guys, Graham here from Bainbridge Technologies, your leaders in power products. Today I'd just like to run through a basic off-grid system that you could have in a small caravan, camper trailer, in your four-wheel drive, canopy, that style of thing. So if you are looking at traveling and going off-grid for a little while, this is the sort of thing that, that you could utilize. You can progress up and further and bigger from this, but just on this board I'll just use these devices to fit on here to make it a little bit easier. But I mean, this is certainly a system that you can definitely have in the back of your four-wheel drive, in your canopy and so forth. So just maybe a couple of components may charge depending upon what your requirements are. So if you're going to be going away for long periods of time and you've got a lot of high current devices, you may need a bigger battery or a bigger inverter charger, that style of thing. So just to quickly run through what we've got on here. So I've got a 110 amp hour slim lithium battery, which a lot of four-wheel drive dual cab utes behind the seats in the cab or whatever, or in a canopy, they fit up on the back of the canopy and so forth. So fantastic for that. So 110 amp hour lithium battery. And then I've just got a small 500 watt inverter down here. This is purely used to charge batteries for cameras if you're running drones and things like that. It'll charge up. You can plug in your charger if you're running brushless devices such as drills and the chainsaws and all those sorts of things, and hammer drills and that type of thing that you may take to change wheels and so forth. So that'll be more than ample to for the charger to plug in to charge those batteries up with as well. Obviously you're not going to go running kettles and heaters and convection cooktops and things like that off of that, but certainly if you had a bigger battery bank and a larger inverter, you could definitely do that. But this is purely just for charging purposes and devices and so forth. And then we just got this coming into a dual Anderson plug lead here that you can then obviously maybe plug air compressor, your fridge, that type of thing and everything into here. Going through a 6-panel switch block, which you would have the fuses for each of your devices. So every device running off of this battery is then going through the switch block, and then from the switch block through to the fuse block to your devices, so they're all individually fused. Going through one main circuit breaker, and then just a couple of little switch panels here. This one here's just got a SIGA socket and USB sockets and switches that you can utilise to turn those compressors and so forth on, or if you've got LED lighting and so forth. So that's simulating basically a system that you would have in your van, motorhome, so forth. This battery here is the one that has a DC to DC built in. So sorry, I said it was 110 amp hour before. Sorry, this one's actually our 75 amp slim, but it's just that they're the same size casing. So 75 amp hour slim, so that's equivalent to around about the old 110, 120 amp AGM battery, which for most people is more than enough to have in the back of your car to run your fridges and some LED lighting and so forth and things like that. So the 75 slim, this one's got the DC to DC built in. So I've just got this circuit breaker here hooked up to the power supply, which we utilise for the charging side of things, but as a power supply just to simulate the ignition. So if I turn that on, you'll notice that this green light comes on here. That's obviously because it's now seen above 13.2 volts, so the charger activates. So whilst you're driving, the charger in here now is charging the battery up. Going through this, I've actually got a shunt connected to this battery. So the charger is going into the load system side so all your devices and anything charging your battery, the negative would go onto the system side. And then to the battery, this is just the one negative that goes back into the Gray Anderson plug, or to the negative of your battery, depending on what type of battery you've got. That way then, that will measure anything that's going in or out of your battery, and you can monitor that on your phone via the Victron Connect app. So we're using the Victron Smart Shunt. You could definitely have an actual visual monitor mounted in your vehicle somewhere if you wanted to, that has a shunt connected, would be exactly the same. But this one here, we've just got it going through the Victron Connect app. And it's telling me that we're down to the actual battery state of charge. The battery is actually at 25%, because if I turn this off here, turn the ignition off now, this will actually drop down. The battery voltage is actually at 11.8 volts, because we've had this one run down for quite a while before I was charging it and had some loads on it. So that's telling me the battery's at 11.8 volts. At the moment I've got a negative 5.2 amp current on it. That's just these small loads because I've got the inverter turned on as well. So that's pulling the current out. Now, if I now turn the ignition on, and we know there's ignitions on there, and we can see that because the voltage has now gone right up to 14.2 volts, and it's telling me that I have 1.5 amps of current going into that at the moment, because that will be gradually ramping up and getting in there. So it gives me an idea of where we're actually going with that. And as I said, that's the Victron Connect app on here. So we can show that. Now, through this inverter, I've just got this little like desk fan style of thing here. So I'll turn that on here now, and that will be running off of, which it is, and the lights come on. So that's running off this little inverter. And it will now show me that we've got 19 watts of power going out of that battery as well. So that's going through from the inverter, being drawn through to the 240 volts. That's where we're at with that. So yeah, so it just gives you a good idea of how you can put a system fairly simple into the back of your vehicle. We've just released some new devices now that actually has all this shunt and everything built into it, that you could literally just plug and play into the side of this battery now if you want, and then from the battery you could just go straight to the inverter and you're done as well. And it would neaten all this up because it's actually built into the plug-in on the side. But yeah, so just to give you an idea, so you can obviously run little fans, you know, in a tent or in your camper, in the back of your car, whatever, some LED lights, fridge and so forth, all off the device. And as I said, you can monitor exactly what's going in and out via your Victron Connect app, which is now showing me there. Which is, yeah, fantastic and nice and easy and simple to use. And you know, as I said, can be adapted to anything. You could have a 2,000, 3,000 watt inverter here. Obviously, you would need a bigger battery or multiple batteries to be able to flow the current that would need to do that. So it's all indicative of what size inverter you need for when you're going away. But by all means, if you need any more information, don't hesitate to give us a call, and more than happy to accommodate what you require and work out a system and so forth and take it from there. But thanks for watching, and until next time, bye for now.